All right, today we're going to do the hatching and cross-hatching. Yesterday we did the blending and the stippling, and so today we're going to do the hatching and the cross-hatching. Here's my sample that shows in the brick you've got the cross-hatching, and then on the wings you have just the hatching. Cross-hatching obviously has parallel and vertical lines, and then the hatching just has parallel lines. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. So the closer you put these lines together, the more value you're going to have, and the farther away, the less value. So like this, the light source is coming basically like this, so a little bit on the top, and then more on the side that is the farthest from the light source, and then there is none on the side that is at the light source. Basically the same thing as the blending and the stippling we did. We're just going to be using parallel lines. Okay? Any questions about that? No. Okay. All right. So let me show you what I've done. As I have made these little squares. I've made one. I'm going to make some more for you guys because this is going to make your life easier. I found that when I asked everybody to make a square, they had a really hard time doing the square, measuring it out so that it's a square. So I've already done it for you. Okay? So what you're going to do is you can take the square or you can measure it out. It's up to you. But we're going to take our square. We're going to trace around it like this. Does everybody know how to do a cube in here? Okay. All right. Good. All right. For those of you that don't, you just keep watching. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get this basically halfway through. See, halfway between here and here puts that line, then halfway between there, vertically there. So now we have basically another square. Hopefully I've got them even. All right. So there we go. This is how we make a cube. All right, line up that. Line up that. Oh. Line up that. You see that? See that cube? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get rid of some of these lines so that I have solid sides. We don't want to have an empty, like open box or anything like that. We want nice solid sides. Okay, see that? So here's one side here, the top right there, and then the other side over here. All right? Any questions? How I did that? No? Okay. You guys are all still asleep. Okay, so we're going to say that our light source, remember we always have to have a light source so we know which side is the farthest from the light source, so it's going to have more value, correct? We learned that yesterday? Okay, so let's say our light source is coming from here on this side. If that's so, which side is going to be the darkest?
Opposite side.
There you go. Good job. Okay, so what is going to happen to this side?
It's going to be the light. It's going to be the light.
Okay, what's going to happen to this one?
It's going to be a little
It's
bit
going to
darker.
be
Going to be a little bit darker, right? So this is going to be the lightest, then the second, and then this being the darkest, correct? So if this is the lightest, am I going to put any lines on this one?
No.
Show any value? Okay, good. What about this one?
A little.
A little bit. Okay. So as you see, just like right here, okay, kind of is just a little bit opposite. But so the lines on the top, we're going to go ahead and we're going to measure this, all right, so that we get them nice and parallel. That's important, okay? So I'm going to get my 0 mark on here. All right, so this is like 2 1/16 inches. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark this one at 1/4 inch. Everybody knows where 1/4 inch is on the ruler, correct? Yes. Okay. Then you're going to come back here to this side. We're going to measure it 1/4 inch too. Then what you do is you go from each one of your little marks and you draw a line. See that? See how now they're parallel? Because I've drawn a mark at the top and at the front and at the back. And then that way, we make sure that our lines stay parallel to each other. My pencil's kind of fat. It makes it a lot easier. Like a mechanical pencil, this would work really well, because your little mechanical pencils stay nice and sharp. There you go. Let me do this all the way across. Get down there. There you go. See? Yeah, so that one has a little bit of value. Now we're going to do this side. So, do I have more or less lines? If I'm going to create. Okay, so to create more value, we're going to make more lines. So, this, I did 1/4 inch at the top. What do you suggest I do at the bottom here? If I want to have more lines, what should I?
No. 8.
1/8, good. So basically, we're just putting a line in between each one of these, right? Because those are 1/4 inch, and we're going to make 1/8 inch. There's my 1/4, so here's my 1/8. There you go. Okay. So we'll go ahead and we'll mark it down here. So here I've got to mark all. So I do 1/8 inch all the way across. Okay. Then you go ahead and you do the lines once again. And we're going to do our, and what is this one called? What,
Hatching.
hatching. Good job. So cross hatching, what do you think I'm going to have to do?
Cross it.
Cross it. Good. Cross it with what?
Lines going vertically and horizontally.
Okay, good job. So do you see how easy this is? Especially if you measure it, right? It's going to get really off whack, though, if you don't measure it. Even though you think you're doing it, if it gets all unparalleled, then it totally just destroys our whole thing we're trying to do here. Okay, there you go. So now if we're going to measure, okay, so this is hatching. So we got that done. Now let's go ahead and do, I'm going to just show you on, I'll show you on the top. Is that okay if I just show you the cross hatching? All right, so we understand we're going to do two. We're going to do hatching and cross hatching. I'm showing you the cube because yesterday I showed the circle and the cone. So I wanted to show you the square. If you choose to do a circle and show the cross hatching or the hatching, that's fine too. Okay? So you can pick whichever one. But remember, you've got 4 different techniques and you've got 3 shapes. So one shape is going to be used twice. Right? We talked about that yesterday. Okay, so we're going to do this one here at the top because that's going to not take as much time so that you guys have time to get all of this done today. So I'm going across there and doing my 1/4 inch. There you go. And then you just line it up and go. See how that works? Oh, I'm off just a little bit there. There you go. See, there's the cross hatching. All right, are there any questions? Sounds pretty simple? All right.
Like a grid.
Like a grid, exactly. That's basically what you're doing. The important part is that they're parallel. The lines are